What's going on YouTube? Welcome back once again to Fighting Fire with Fire, the AJ Rose Show. It's Monday, October 25th, 2010, and today we are breaking down the Eastern Conference of the NBA in part 2 of our NBA preview. On Saturday we previewed the Western Conference, and today, like I said, we're doing the Eastern Conference, and then I'm going to give you my predictions for the playoffs, who's going to represent the East and the West in the finals, and who's going to win the NBA title. The Eastern Conference is filled with bad teams. From the bottom, which is probably going to be the Toronto Raptors and the Nets, all the way up to the Pacers and the Knicks, even though they have Amari Stoudemire, but then there are a few mediocre teams like the Hawks, who just signed Joe Johnson to an absurd $120 million contract, and the Bucks with Andrew Bogut coming off that horrible injury last year. I wish him all the best. He was doing really well last year. And then the Bulls are probably the highest mid-level team because they signed Carlos Boozer and Kyle Korver, and I really like that team with Derrick Rose, who's going to be in his third year, and he's going to be really, really good. Derrick Rose is very good. Joakim Noah is a great hustle player and rebounder. And the top three teams in the East is very top heavy. You got the three top teams, and everybody else kind of falls by the wayside. You got the Miami Heat, the Orlando Magic, and the Boston Celtics. The Celtics got bigger and somehow got older over the offseason. They got Shaquille O'Neal, Jermaine O'Neal, Delonte West, and, they got this kid from Turkey, the Turkey national team, Semi Erden, who's also 7 feet tall. Shaq 7'1", Jermaine O'Neal 6'11". So they have a lot of big guys to throw at Dwight Howard, Pau Gasol, and whatever big men that the Miami Heat have to represent, which I think at this point is Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Joel Anthony, and Juwan Howard. The Celtics are probably in the best position of anybody to win it because last year they took the lackadaisy approach. They ended up with only 50 wins, and then they turned on that on-off switch despite what a ton of the critics said. People said, oh, you can't just turn it on in the playoffs. Well, the Celtics did. They got within 6 minutes of winning the NBA championship, which I'm still bitter about. But I like their chances to get back there this year. Dwight Howard, we'll see how he improves because he's been NBA Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row now, but this past offseason he worked with the dream, Akeem Olajuwon, to try and get a little bit of a post-up game. And if anybody can teach you a post-up game, it's Akeem Olajuwon, who, by the way, looks like he could still start on several NBA teams, even though he's almost 50. I think that the Miami Heat it's going to be very tough for them all to gel together. They got a lot of new guys. They got not just LeBron and Bosh. They got Mike Miller, who's going to be out for a couple months. They got Eddie House. They got Big Z. They got Juwan Howard. They got Jerry Stackhouse. They got a lot of veterans and a couple good role players. So they have all the pieces. It's just going to be whether they can gel. And really, LeBron's ego is going to be the big decision because if he starts facilitating and being more of a passer, being more of a Magic Johnson type instead of a Michael Jordan type, the sky's the limit for that team. They could win 65 games and win the whole thing. They really could. However, I don't think LeBron's ego is small enough to allow that to happen, and I don't think the Heat are going to come out of the East. I think the Celtics come out of the East, the Lakers come out of the West, and we end up with a rematch of last year's NBA Finals. And the winner of your 2010-2011 NBA season is the Boston Celtics, because I'm a huge homer and because I love the revenge factor. And if Shaq actually comes to the Celtics and wins his 5th ring and is now even with Kobe, I can't even imagine the rap he will make. Hey Kobe, tell me how to ask this. Part 2. I am very, very, very excited for this NBA season. Speaking of which, tomorrow night, the Heat and Celtics open the season at the TD Bank North Garden. I will be there recording the AJ Rose Show live from the Garden, which will be posted hopefully on Wednesday. I'll give you some footage from the Garden, and if there's a buzzer beater or a really dramatic ending to that game, I will record it and I will send it out to you guys. So thank you for watching Fighting Fire with Fire. This concludes our NBA preview. NBA season starts tomorrow. Get pumped, and I'm out.